Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, but now available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Yeah, man. How'd that happen?
What are you over there doing, bro?
Drunk behind the wheel, apparently.
Apparently, because it's not even a pay-per-view.
No,
don't leave me, lead them all.
That's the playlist, man.
Shout out to my guy, Chicago.
Yo, before we get started, I forgot to say this last week in last week's episode, but huge rest in peace shout out to Black Rob. Also, as of last week, even bigger rest in peace shout out to the homeboy Shock G at Digital Underground. Last week's show crazy. And this week's show combined will be dedicated to both you guys' memories. Hip hop ain't gonna be the same. We lost a hell of an MC and one of the realest MCs ever, most highly underrated, and one of the illest musicians to ever grace a microphone and don a hip hop title of any sort in Shock G. So to both of those guys, rest up and to your loved ones, especially Beast Radio family's own Money B. Our heartfelt condolences out to you and your families with these losses. So from us to y'all, that's what we got. Now, anything you want to add to that, Suave?
It's just crazy. Like, I consider myself to be, somewhat knowledgeable on hip hop and hip hop history. It never dawned on me how influential and intelligent and insightful Shock G was, because I wasn't hearing and seeing interviews, but his understanding and his grasp of knowledge of not only the musical composition side, but how to explain the style of an MC is like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about.
He was on a completely different plane. I had the privilege of gracing a stage with him in Houston back in 2008. I've actually met him there, and then a couple other times after that here in Dallas with Money B. And me and Mun are thick as thieves, of course. But it was a pleasure to meet Shock. But weird. Like the energy was like anytime people refer to him as weird, it's for a reason. He was out there. He was a spacey dude, and being a child, like their Digital Underground second album was called Sons of the P. And if you knew anything about P-Funk prior to listening to Digital Underground anything, you knew a P-Funk album usually consisted of about 6 songs, maybe at the most. So one song may be 10-15 minutes long. This album was an album of 8, 9, 10-minute songs, and it's one of the most complete compositions. It's easily my favorite Digital Underground album. Sex Packers is a classic. Sons of the P is my favorite Digital Underground album. And,
gotcha.
And there's a lot more. I think there was like 6 total Digital Underground albums, and they're wild, man. They're you would never hear these joints on the radio. You're not going to play them around your friends. This is the album that you sit and listen to by yourself or with the missus while you're talking about nothing. You just sit there. Listening to a Digital Underground album is the equivalent of reading a book past Sex Packers and past this is an EP release. Sons of the P and everything after Sons of the P, Body Hat Syndrome, like all those, like even the album that Looney's was on with that we got more. Even that album, like spacey, just it's the equivalent of reading a book. You need to enjoy that by yourself and tell people about it so they can do the exact same. If you don't believe me,
now
You must, as a hip hop head, as an MC, as a DJ, you must hear, like, you must swab. Go do your lit on those, man. I got you if you need help.
Now I have homework.
Yes. And be objective. I mean, you know what you're getting into. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'm not trying to set anybody else. I'm not trying to set you up for, like, what am I listening to? Nah, it's genius. It's art. It's definitely that. So I go on for hours and days talking about the skill of who is Shock G, and I wish more people would, but we got a lifetime for that. So let's let everybody else tell their stories. In fact, I'm trying to get my guy Scott Knox. I want him to come on, and because he's not the biggest wrestling fan, but even one of his first mixtapes when he got on the road with Digital Underground before me meeting him was called Gorilla Monsoon. So, oh shit! So there's a tie-in there. So, yeah, we'll get it going. We'll get Scott on here probably one of the next 2 episodes. And we'll talk about it. Might even do like a tribute, like mixed tribute show with a bunch of Digital Underground, because I got all their albums anyway. So there's that. Yeah. So that's the music side of this, the hip hop side of this thing.
Facts.
We had another phenomenal episode last week with the Petty Messiah. Just pop it in with an unpaid unpaid visit from Black Lesnar.
Nah. He refuses to accept the fact that is an unpaid episode. I believe in paying people, so I'm not even gonna text him like that. Like, I believe in paying people.
Right on. So I guess I'll let him make it.
I want to get paid.
Yeah, we all want to get paid. I guess we'll let them make it. So we'll have to renegotiate. An episode short, in my opinion. We'll have to renegotiate. But who am I to argue? When we went off the air last week, we completely.
No,
go ahead.
What you do is you take all of your frustrations and you put them into the language of the new contract. That's what you do. That's what you do.
What's going to end up happening is we're going to get a whole conference with Deshaun St. Julian, which is going to take up a whole episode, which he's going to file Black Lesnar clauses throughout. I'm not so happy. I'm not so sure I'm happy with that.
Look, that's why you have to start these negotiations via text early.
Oh man. Well, in that regard, when we went off last week, we meant to talk about a pay-per-view that was coming up because it has some pretty monumental implications. I'm kind of happy that we didn't talk about it, because now we have a small game we're going to try to play with this one. Not to shit on anybody. Let me preface that. Impact Wrestling had their Rebellion
not to
pay-per-view.
Not to shit on nobody, but we finna shit on somebody.
Impact Wrestling had their Rebellion pay-per-view. And Impact has been doing great numbers by themselves on Tuesdays and then Thursdays. Now that NXT is on Tuesdays and they've been moved to Thursdays, but Kenny Omega has been increasing the Impact numbers as well as the AEW numbers with this tie-in with Don Callis with Impact. So we're going to run down the card. On the card, right, you tell me if you care or don't care about the match. And then if you don't care about the match, we'll move on to the next match. Because ultimately we're lo es cual es. It is what it is. But we're going somewhere with this.
You're setting me up.
Hey, well,
you're setting me up to be the bad guy here, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, things happen. You ready? You ready, B?
Yeah, let's roll. All
right. In the pre-show, you had Rosemary and Havoc versus Kimberly and Susan. Okay. Josh Alexander versus Ace Austin and TJP for the X Division Championship. Interesting here.
Barely care, but go.
Interesting here. Here's why you barely care, I'm sure. TJP is running roughshod through MLW right now while also collecting the bag in Impact. You're on the Impact pay-per-view the same week that you're on MLW TV, losing to your protege. You doing big bag numbers over here, homie. We're not mad at you for that. Violent by Design versus Chris Sabin, Eddie Edwards, James Storm, and Willie Mack. First of all, do you even know who Violent by Design is?
That was going to be the reason I said I care, because I want to know who that is.
Diener, Joe Doring, Rhino, and Eric Young. And Eric Young replaced himself with W. Morrissey.
First of all, I'm really perturbed that we couldn't negotiate something better than W. Morrissey. You couldn't think of anything better than his government name. He's gone from Big Cass to Cass XL. You couldn't just call him XL?
Listen, that was the whole thing was his name was going to be Cass XL. Not to mention, he had already been in Impact for a cup of coffee. A cup of haters.
Like you could have
a cup of haters.
You could have called him you could have called him OG Cash. You could have done anything. I'm making this stuff up as we go. I don't have these names written down on a pad. I'm just being creative. Sorta.
I mean,
this isn't difficult. I don't have to dig in a deep bag of references or whatever to pull out a better name than just they put his government out there.
William Morrissey. W. Morrissey. Yes, okay. Brian Myers.
W like he's a rich kid.
Like I'm just gonna call some. Hey W. Never.
Don't do that.
Brian Myers versus Matt Cardona in a singles match. For those of you unaware or under a rock, that would be Zack Ryder versus Kurt Hawkins.
The edgeheads are squaring off.
It was good to see that Brian Myers actually got a victory because he needed it more than Matt Cardona did. I'll say
he's out of WWE. Why is that still the conversation? He needs a victory. Like, come on, bruh. See, that's the whole thing. That's why WWE television means what it means, and it is what it is. Perception is reality. So now that man has moved on from that company with an opportunity to start over fresh
and doing the exact same thing
for less money.
Jordan Grace and the reemergence of Rachel Ellering versus Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, aka Fire and Flavor, for the Knockouts Championship.
Sure, I care enough. Fine.
All right, we have new champions in Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering, who was accompanied by Jazz. Trey Miguel,
Young Rach.
Yeah, Young Rach, young Precious.
Yeah.
Trey Miguel versus Sami Callihan in the Last Man Standing match.
Sure, I'm interested. Why not?
This actually had a decent story behind it. Sami Callihan was beating the dog piss out of Trey Miguel, just walking him for weeks, and Trey Miguel finally gets the victory in the Last Man Standing match. New Japan influx: Finn Juice, Dave Finlay, and Juice Robinson, the Impact World Tag Team Champions, versus the Good Brothers in a rematch.
Sure, why not? Go ahead.
Finn Juice retains. Deonna Purrazzo versus
talking about my Finn Juice.
Ooh. I wish I still had my tonsils for that one, because I could have hit that shit. Deonna Purrazzo versus Tennille Dashwood for the Impact Knockouts Championship.
Sure.
Deonna Purrazzo defeats Tennille Dashwood. And finally,
congratulations.
Winner takes all. AEW World Champion Kenny Omega takes on Impact World Champion Rich Swann. Impact and TNA World Champion Rich Swann. Naturally, this is where we're going with this whole pay-per-view. Was for this, the first time in modern wrestling history, two active wrestling companies put their titles on the line for a winner take all, and the winner shows up on their program with the other's title while the other company is still in motion. Kenny Omega wins clean over Rich Swann in this match to become the AEW World Champion, the TNA World Champion, and the Impact World Champion. Even though TNA no longer exists, Impact does.
Don't forget the Triple I Mega Champion.
The Triple I Mega Champion, which is not necessarily a world title either. It's just a title. Because the AAA champion,
they count it, but he never has it on camera anymore.
He never goes to Mexico and defends it either.
He did. Remember when he did that head dive into nobody?
That was 4 months ago.
They was defending the title. Apparently, there's no 30-day rule. You call Bill Watt.
All right.
Bill stripped his Canadian ass. Of course, he wouldn't have made it out of Mexico either, but you know.
Wow, there's that too. So as
you're gonna say the wrong shit in Mexico, and it's gonna be a gas barrel for you, pal.
Yo, did you get a chance to watch NXT this week?
I suffered through that. I suffered through that shit.
How is it that?
You need to put us in the scholarship fund. We ought to be. Yeah, we behind because we're reverting back to our old ways. I guess we said fuck the sponsor.
I'm sorry. I'm
racking. The hell with your money.
I'm racking them up. Hold on. I'm just gonna keep going.
Like say your money don't count like ours. We gonna say what we want.
Somewhere I'm in the back with a green visor. You just plug it in the drawer. And why?
That's what I'm talking about. The green clear visor.
Yeah. What was the significance of the green visor anyway? Was this supposed to deflect the color of the money? Like I don't understand the green visor.
Because they used to sit at poker tables and they had the overhead light, so it would keep the overhead light out of their eyes while they cooking the books.
Oh man, let's see.
You gotta have a dress shirt
accountants, and copy
to the elbow.
And it was supposed to block the incandescent lights and candles. Got you. I just didn't understand why green.
I don't know. I really don't know. We'd have to ask somebody in the 80s.
I don't know. With our newfound bag, we might need to invest us into some green visors.
You know what? I think that might be all right. Let's get us some green visors and some suspenders and some long sleeve pinstripe dress shirts that we roll up to the elbow.
Hey, no shouts out to BMZ. He actually clowned me out on a khaki visor back a few years ago. I had shaved my head bald so to block the reflection off my head. I was wearing a visor, and he was like, "What are you in the 80s?" I'm like, "Why are you on my helmet though, fam?" So
pause.
So if we go back and get us some green visors just for the sake of being like, we got this bag now, you feel me? I mean, why not? Who are you to judge us? Judge your mammies. How is it that NXT, which was the best program on TV for years, has become damn near unwatchable?
Now you say a show that was
the best
top tier has become unwatchable.
Not just top tier. It's been the bar by which all wrestling shows have been like trying to establish themselves as for years, and out of nowhere,
I got you.
Like they've gone back to NXT on YouTube channels. Like they've gone back prior to when Bo Dallas was. Bo Rotundo actually was the NXT champion. They've gone back before that, and even that was still more watchable than this. And
so
that's
you mean like yikes? They've gone back to like FCW,
like just like right after FCW. Like
yikes! I don't know. We keep pointing at the same thing, that the creative is not connecting with the audience that you're trying to convert. It's not. It's triple C's. Your creative is not connecting with the people you are trying to convert. Your conversion rate is trash because your creative is ass. So your connection's poor.
Bars. Well, out of this week's NXT, there's a very entertaining interview from a detached Adam Cole with someone who works for Sports Illustrated and ESPN. I don't know what the tie-in is going to be here eventually, and maybe they're trying to add some more visibility and legitimacy to NXT. But right now ain't the time to do that, fam, in my opinion. Oh, and why does Kyle O'Reilly look like Great Value Orange Cassidy?
I don't understand it. Like, okay, here's what I've come to understand. The worldwide leader in their actual profession.
Say it again.
The worldwide leader in their actual profession is more reactive than proactive. And what I mean by that, if you go back and look at the Monday Night Wars, when the Monday Night Wars first started, WWE was cartoon land. It was still occupational gimmicks. You still had Duke the Dumpster Drosy on Raw every Monday.
Bastion Booger.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You had just gotten out of you still weren't in Doink territory, but you had the Ultimate Warrior who would jump in and out of character when he got ready. Jerry Lawler was still wrestling.
The oddities were a big thing.
The oddities weren't even around yet. We got to them a little later.
I mean, I'm saying even later though. That's what I'm saying. But like, but you're talking about specifically before the Attitude Era. But yeah, like the Patriot,
94, 90.
The Patriot leaves Global Force because they shut down. Not Global Force, GWF, and goes to the E as the Patriot because they no longer have Big Bag Terry.
I mean, it's just the whole
and Luger,
94, 95, and early 96.
And Luger was a failed experiment. Not to forget about that.
Dean Douglas, just all of that stuff. And WCW, they're still doing cartoon stuff too, because like me going back watching, a bunch of Nitros from early 96 and going into the end of 96, Glacier was still getting debut commercials.
Alex Wright, that's Wunderkind was doing had a techno dance boy gimmick.
Yeah, and by the time Scott Hall actually shows up, we're only maybe 3-4 months removed from like Triple Cage of Doom, where like the Dungeon of Doom and Zeus, aka Debo, and a couple of other people are in this cage, and they literally are called the Alliance to End Hulkamania. And you had Savage and Hogan run through 12 heels in one pay-per-view
in a Triple Cage.
Nonsense, complete nonsense. But at some point, Eric Bischoff decided that we were going to go more reality-based with. You start using people's real names. You started using real controversial topics and started blurring the lines of truth, kayfabe.
Well, you got to remember when Eric Bischoff was in the AWA, Big Scott Hall was one of the biggest baby faces alongside Kurt Hennig.
Facts. They all know each other. I mean, Nash and Hall had been there as Oz and the Diamond Stud, and all of that happened.
Speaking of, hold on, let me stop you real quick. Speaking of the Diamond Stud and Oz, bruh, do you know that they're trying to reinvent the Diamond Mine on NXT? And I don't know if they're doing any reference to Diamond Dallas Page with this.
I mean, the Click is running NXT, so I'm pretty sure they have some input.
I would hope
they signed off on it.
I would hope so, but continue.
Hell, Damian Priest was Razor Ramon Jr. before, he got called up.
Briefly.
Very
briefly.
But I said all that to say, WWE was not, or WWF then, they were still doing, cartoonish presentation. The Undertaker still kind of looked like a cartoon ghost because, this is when he went back to purple gloves and purple spats, and he had that the face mask on after getting his orbitals broke. And then it was but yeah, all of a sudden, oh hell, Steve Austin was the ringmaster for the first part of 96.
Man, listen.
But I say all that to say, once WCW started gaining traction and making up ground in the ratings and making up ground financially by going more reality based, then and only then did you see WWE follow suit. They just did it better. And then even that's kind of arguable if they did it better, but like you're comparing the NWO's run to the Attitude Era. So by that metric, yes, WWF did it better. What I'm seeing now is, again, creative that doesn't connect. And yeah, So for Kyle O'Reilly to start dressing up like Orange Cassidy, it's one of two things. One, it's an inside joke. First and foremost, because look at who we're dealing with. We're not talking about, Monday and Friday. We're talking about the Tuesday crew. Who's in charge of Tuesday?
Everybody from the 90s.
Which it doesn't always reflect in the actual programming, but it does kind of reflect in, the training. It reflects in the talent that's being picked, XYZ. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, it's an inside joke. The other thing I'm looking at is they're just mirroring what they see.
Mm-hmm.
So if Impact does 1 million viewers with whatever their creative is that week, well, let's cherry pick what we like from there and then do it, because we'll do it with a higher production value. That ain't the answer, fam.
Nah, bro. Like, the last thing you need to do is go and try to literally jack not just ideas but visuals from who became the reason why you left your home on Wednesday.
Because that's not an accident. You look at that and you absolutely realize that's not an accident. That didn't just happen on some, today I wore a jean jacket and sunglasses. Like, nah, this was carefully crafted. And Kyle kind of sold it on camera, which made me think, okay, inside joke. But at the same time, like, the whole cool Kyle shtick. Like, what are we doing?
Like Orange Cassidy, Strawberry Blonde, Kyle O'Reilly, ginger, with a ginger beard. Like, you put a denim jacket with sheepskin or wool around the neck, Sherlin style, if you will. And nah, man, you just.
Cause see, let's keep it 1,000. I can really only handle and tolerate Orange Cassidy in small doses. I get the gimmick. Nobody needs to explain it to me. I just can only take so much of it. Kyle O'Reilly would be the version of Orange Cassidy that can go. Here's the thing, though.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Here's the thing.
I don't give a shit about it to begin with. Now, you can miss me with delete all that shit, Peggy.
Delete.
Delete all of it. I don't care about any of it. It doesn't move the needle for me whatsoever. I do realize that there are a segment of people that watch professional wrestling that are entertained by that. I just happen not to be one of them when you try to give it to me over the course of a show. If it's a one-off, fine. Sure. Whatever you want to do. But don't try. Okay, I watched I watched Dynamite tonight. Do you know Orange Cassidy is the number 2 ranked contender in all of AEW?
What has he won? When is the last time he's actually wrestled on television? All his matches have been on dark.
He wrestled on television tonight. I can't tell you when the last time it was before then, unless it was like the blow off angle with Miro and Kip. But he hasn't lost in 2021. So that's the other crazy thing. So they're still, pushing the value and the equity in Orange Cassidy. But I'm like, you look at that roster and you think of all the possible contenders for a World Heavyweight Championship, and Orange Cassidy is number 2. What is the long-term thinking here?
So let's get this right. Typically, the person holding your work rate title is your number 1 contender. Or is that a safe assumption?
Yes, so that would be Darby.
Darby with the AEW TNT Championship.
For those of you who grew up with early 90s WCW, when they were doing the top 10, the United States champion was always ranked number 1 because he was the number 1 contender to the world title.
Usually the Intercontinental title holder was number 2 or 3 in the world, behind the WWF champion at the time and whoever was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion at the time. Because I
can co-sign that.
So, all right. So that said, number 2, someone who hasn't wrestled on TV In a month of Sundays and 2 Mondays, Orange Cassidy, your number one contender, is your AEW TNT title holder, Darby Allin, with your world champion being Kenny Omega. Let that sit and just marinate in your drink for a second. Kenny Omega in a handicap match versus Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. Not to knock either one of those guys, Darby or Orange Cassidy. If Kenny just goes Kung Fu Kenny and goes back to the cleaner and without all the theatrics, he will dog walk the both of them in less than 45 seconds. Is that a safe assumption?
Now, who are we dog walking this time?
Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. He'll
definitely dog walk Orange Cassidy. Darby will run from him just long enough not to get dog walked, but pancaked.
Okay. But we're talking about the easily. I'm sorry. This is not easily, because honestly, the number one champion in the world right now has to be Bobby Lashley. Has to be, only because of Bobby Lashley's legitimate pedigree.
That would be a decent mixtape to put together. Look at all the world champions and rank them. Because if Bobby's one, then Jacob Fatu is probably two.
Let's do it. We got time. Shit. We need content. Let's do this. So
we ain't doing shit else.
We were going to do the new Hurt Business 2.0 mixtape, but why? For what?
We'll get to that. Don't worry about it. We got it.
All right. So
don't worry about it. The bank will let us slide.
Your current world champions, MLW. Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf.
That's my number 2, if not number 1.
We'll rank them here in a second. I'll gladly put numbers by these here in a second. We got Raw.
Gotcha.
With Lashley. We have SmackDown with the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the check signer. NXT. Who's the NXT champion? See, that's a damn shame. Finn Balor? No, it's Karrion Kross. Which I'm glad he's back on top, because I mean, when you leave an NXT and you leave due to injury, that you're earmarked to come back for taking back your spot again. So I'm glad to see that lightweight. Let's see here. ROH World Champion. Who's the world champion right now?
Don't give me the telling. I'll do your Googles.
Let's see here. Where is this thing at? There we go. All right. Currently, the ROH World Heavyweight Champion is it Rush still?
Oh, it's Rush. Yes, it is.
Yeah, 425 days.
I know I've read that earlier, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Well, because he had a match last month. It was a 3-way. But the thing about his title reign, the reason I was even more surprised, not the fact that it is Rush, is more so than the fact that it's been for over a year. So they're getting ready to kick back off, and then Jacob Fatu has held the MLW belt for almost 2 years, if not over 2 years at this point. Let's see here. AEW/Impact is going to be Kenny Omega. We also have New Japan. Let's see here.
That's the one I was waiting on. That's going to be Ospreay.
Well, Ospreay's the New Japan.
Or as I've heard him refer to, on the spray.
Oh shit!
I ain't gonna lie, that shit was funny. Like every so often, I'll come across one that's oh my god, that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's both sad and amusing at the same damn time. That is pinpoint accuracy. That is marksman stuff. Like, you ought not run afoul of that person ever. To quote Big Sean, or that hit your ass from like way a ways away.
For real, like, bruh.
Shit.
Will, I was like, damn, did I write that? Nah, I didn't even write this one. Like,
oh man. man.
That come out of our playbook of some shit that we would say in the group text, but it would never see the light of day.
Lightweight, heavy. I'm telling you. Whew, good Lord.
Yeah, like our old name for Kyrie Saint and our old name for the Kabuki Warriors.
No.
Or how we done run up this whole list of aliases for the Young Bucks, or the Load Warriors, or the Block Control Express, or
the Mean Tweet Posse, all that shit.
Oh, I added a new one, the Great Value Motor City Machine Guns. But yeah, all of it. Will on the spray caught me so off guard. I was like, oh my God.
The Legion of Boo.
Bruh.
Oh, that's a classic one there. Man.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Out there, buddy.
So we have just to run them down. We have MLW, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, ROH, Impact, AEW, and New Japan. Are we missing anybody?
You got MLW, right?
Yes.
NWA Power.
Oh yeah. He if anybody deserves it off the radar, he definitely deserves it.
I know which one you missing too.
Yes. What's that?
NXT UK.
Oh, good call. Good call.
Ring General. My God.
Walter.
Walter.
And he's the only one I put in all caps. So,
that's a sign of respect. I like it.
All right. So number one, I'm going to put Lashley at number one.
I don't argue with that. I'm cool with that. Now, what is the criteria we're using for this mixtape?
Legitimacy, title reign, strength of title.
Okay. Legitimacy. Yeah. Jacob Fatu is number 2.
By all means. And I'm saying that
my guy got real life bodies.
It's not even more so the real life bodies. That it actually is, because that's one reason why Lashley ranks so high.
You can never negate the real life bodies.
But also the fact that he has held. In fact, let me get a date total on this. I believe we're well over 700 days. World Heavyweight Championship. Let's take a look here. Jacob Fatu. I thought we were at 700. We're close. It's 663 days. So it's still damn near 2 years. July 6th. If he still has the title by then, which more than likely he will, since they're going back to Philadelphia in July, more than likely with the 2-year anniversary and the crowning of that 2-year reign from Jacob Fatu. So there's that. Number 3.
Walter.
Who's that?
Walter.
All right. I'll agree with
Walter.
that.
Walter will legitimately cave your chest in with that bullshit. Come around there playing if you want to and get your whole shit lumped up.
You know who deserves to be number 3, but it's probably going to be closer to 6 or 7, simply because his strength of title right now? Nick Aldis. Because look at how long he's held the title. And he still was defending it even though no one saw it.
I can see that.
And he is the 2021 embodiment of what Ric Flair used to be.
Traveling champion.
There it is. So for that reason, number 4.
This is where it starts to get a little different, because the first 3, because of the criteria legitimacy, those first 3 are easy to pick, because it's like, bro, if I am out anywhere and I'm with them, I know I got somebody who gonna swing.
You might as well be with Haku.
You feel me? Like a reasonable facsimile thereof. I know for a fact if I go anywhere with any one of those 3, ain't nobody getting slid up on the table.
It's gonna be some few people getting slid.
At least nobody I came with.
It's gonna be some people getting slid.
Right. They gonna do the slide. They will not be slid under a table. They will do the slide.
All right. So
Some of these other guys, I'm not so sure.
So let me run it down for you. We have Reigns, Cross, Rush, Omega, Ospreay, and Aldis. I'm leaning towards Reigns right now, but it's going to be out of Reigns and Cross. Now, the strength of those titles is going to be higher than anything right now, with the exception of the AEW title. Kenny Omega is
and we're at number 4, right?
Yes. Kenny Omega is a legitimate wrestler, but he ain't catching no bodies in these streets, fam.
I don't think so. He's a self-professed artist, so he is established himself worldwide as proficient at the art of professional wrestling.
He is Winnipeg Nakamura.
Wow, that's lofty.
Well, he said he's an artist. That's as far as I'll go with that. But no, because even Nakamura is a shell of his former self. So there's that.
What's Canada's great value? Because I don't think is Walmart in Canada.
They have parts in Canada.
I need like the high top version of Seth Rollins. That's what I'm trying.
Canadian equivalent
of high top brand
to great value. List of Walmart brands.
My head hurts, bro. God,
high top.
Oh, high top Seth Rollins.
A generic brand.
What is a generic Canadian brand of food? That is disrespectful. That's too far. That's too far.
Is it?
It is. It's not, but it is. It's good stuff though. It's good content.
I mean, would this be Canada? Why?
Boy,
is it truly clearly Canadian?
No, I won't even say it's clearly Canadian because until they told me he was from Canada, I was kind of questioning like, where's this guy from? Him being from Canada is what explained why he could wrestle so well. In Japan,
the fact that he and Chris Jericho hail from the same city, that's just crazy. All right, so we're at number 6. We have Rush, Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Nick Aldis. Reign wise, it's gonna be Nick Aldis,
right? Strength of title,
AEW or New Japan, but New Japan gets knocked down because Will Ospreay hasn't defended the title yet, and
strength of title is absolutely New Japan.
But so what about
because AEW's had what 4 champions, 3,
I believe.
Chris Jericho, Moxley, and now Omega. You've had 3 champions. Strength of title could never, with 3 champions, strength of title will never compare to New Japan.
Good point.
As a matter of fact, I'll take New Japan's last 3 champions over AEW's 3 champions ever.
Okay. All right. All right. So what about ROH then? Because now the conversation becomes ROH. I know we can't include, it's sad we can't include Nick Aldis. Because even if we included the last 3 NWA World Heavyweight Champions, you don't know them besides Nick Aldis.
Was it is Cody one of them?
Yep, Cody's one of them.
So Aldis, Cody, and whoever was champion before Aldis.
Exactly.
Willie Mack?
No, Willie Mack was never the world champion. He was a national champion.
Okay, makes it a little more difficult to figure out who he. Google it, find out who he beat.
Don't worry, I'm on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's see here.
Let's see who got it.
William Patrick Corgan. Wow.
Willie.
Let's see here.
I know Billy Corgan wasn't the last champion, was he?
No. What? I know it wasn't Scrap. There's no way it was Scrap.
No. Maybe Aldis resurrected the title from... Bruh, I don't know.
No, it was Tim Storm.
Oh, You know what? I do remember Tim Storm.
I remember Tim Storm. I never remember him actually holding the title. But it was definitely
because it was a whole thing they talked about on Power, like and they explained his previous title reign, and if he didn't win his rematch, he would never challenge again.
Yep. And here's an interesting story. This is according to Wikipedia.
Don't do this.
Adam Pearce wanted the NWA to sanction a match as a world title match. They did anyway, with Colt Cabana winning the match. Adam Pearce and Cabana both broke kayfabe after the match, with Pearce saying that Cabana was the rightful champion, Cabana saying that he did not want the title as it was about the past and he was about the future. Adam Pearce declared that he did not want the title either and left in the ring as both people exited while the title stayed in the middle of the ring. Wow.
How many times have they denounced the NWA championship? Because Shane Douglas did it to start the ECW world title. So
threw it in the trash.
Are they just not paying people?
But this is also before Billy Corgan took over as well. So there's that.
When Shane did it, it was like during the Corluzzo days. Dennis Corluzzo.
Yep.
Bro, I don't understand. Like, something needs to be discussed within the brain trust of the NWA, because you can't just keep throwing my title down like this.
Billy Corgan is the brain trust of the NWA now, so all things 10 pounds of gold or better.
Now, but Billy Corgan was not involved the last two. The title got thrown out the sunroof.
Man, that
of a moving vehicle.
Let us not forget, one of the greatest UFC heavyweights of all time carried that belt to a UFC octagon, and then the B7.
Some of my theme music in WWF history. Dead ass top five for me. For that reason, Aldis can't be 5. So,
no.
Who's left?
He can't even be 6. So we're at number 6.
I'm gonna put On the Spray at 5.
No, he's at 6. I got Karrion Kross at 5.
Oh, he's just. I take Kross at 5.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, just the body.
I mean,
it's the body aspect of that one.
I mean, he gets that on legitimacy and presentation, but strength of title.
You don't think the NXT title carries weight?
The NXT title carries weight, not New Japan weight.
The champion, Karrion Kross. You think?
That's what I'm saying. Give me your criteria. We're doing legitimacy, title reign, strength of title.
Karrion Kross was the NXT champion, and the only thing that separated him from having a longer reign was the injury. He comes back from injury, regains it after the week of WrestleMania at Takeover. And
so we're on title run 2, and we're only counting from the time he beat Finn Balor.
Technically, we're on title run 1 because he won the title and never had a chance to run with it.
Was Finn Balor champion?
Finn Balor was the champion.
He's on title reign number 2.
Oh, well.
He's beaten 2 different people to become NXT champion. He's on title reign number 2.
Okay. All right. Ospreay has only been
on the spray.
On the spray has only been champion since last month? Let's see.
Yes, in a shocking turn of events. Kota went through all that trouble to get a new belt made. Like, give me.
Now we know why that belt's so much smaller. Look who's carrying it. Damn, did I say that?
It actually looked for real. It actually looked bigger on the spray. That's fucking crazy. Okay, that's just too much. Okay, Will Ospreay holding the title belt. The belt looks bigger.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude. I just kind of walked into that. I wasn't even here for a dunk contest. I just went off the glass for no reason. I wasn't here for that.
I didn't even toss it to you, fam.
Bitch, I'm in business casual. I'm not here for no dunk contest.
And actually, I was wrong. It wasn't last month. It was this month. He hasn't even held the title for a whole month yet. So basically, the same time frame that Karrion Kross. Well, hell, put Karrion Kross in the ring against Will Ospreay. Who wins?
I still say, it's definitely Karrion Kross. I still say the New Japan World Title ranks higher than the NXT Championship book.
Yeah, 2-1. I totally agree that in New Japan title does have higher weight. So we'll do that because the title reigns are about the same. So if we're gonna do that based off the strength of the title, there you go. So we'll go 5 and 6. Kenny Omega, Rush, Nick Aldis. So we already know Nick Aldis is going to be dead last. Unfortunately,
yeah, he's probably gonna come up 10. I'm almost ready to make an argument to put Kenny above.
Karrion Kross.
Put Kenny above on the spray.
So we could actually
because that what you.
So here's the deal: because
Kenny has a longer title reign.
Kenny has a longer title reign. He carries 2 titles. So the fact that he's below 5 is actually blasphemous to this whole ranking system we're doing.
I mean, but we ain't putting the cape on. There's other criteria. It's not just the fact that you have more belts. Hell, Ultimo Dragon had 9.
Well, look at the belts that he has though. And we're not talking about Ultimo. We're talking about Kenny Omega in 2021 during a pandemic.
Kenny Omega in 2021 is carrying a title for a company he helped found. He's an executive vice president for it. He has another belt from a company that is somehow managed to tread water for the last 15 years. And then he has another belt from south of the border, which we have already discussed. He ain't going to Mexico no time soon.
You act like those 15 years over there have been shit, and they haven't been. We got the best of Kurt Angle in those 15 years.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of Perk Angle in Impact. But what I'm saying is, you look
the humanity.
You know what I'm saying? You look at the track record and how many times that Impact / TNA / whatever has been on the brink. Yeah, has been on the brink of absolute financial chaotic disaster.
Yeah.
Like how many different ownership changes this has gone through. How many different ownership groups have had their hands in Impact, whether it was the Jarretts, whether it was the Carters, whether it was that damn Owl, or whether it was Billy Corgan.
That damn Owl is who owns it now.
You feel what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Like, I'm all for people having places to work, and if Impact, kind of improve some of their aesthetics as far as presentation, I'll be glad to watch. But let's not sit here and act as though, Impact has not had its struggles. So if it wasn't for Don Callis, Kenny Omega would not be on Impact Television winning anything.
All right, so in that regard, then we just settled who's number 8 and who's number 9. Putting number 7 on Rush. Number 8 is going to be Kenny Omega. Number 9 is going to be Nick Aldis. And again, I feel so sorry for Nick Aldis in this ranking because he deserves better. He just can't get better. So there we go.
Oh.
So right now, in terms of your world champions, in order, we have, in our opinion, number 1, Raw, WWE heavyweight champion Bobby Lashley. Number 2, MLW World Heavyweight Champion Jacob Fatu. Number 3, NXT UK Champion Walter. Number 4, SmackDown Universal Champion Tribal Chief, head of the table Roman Reigns.
And I almost feel disrespectful by putting Roman at 4, but go ahead.
Roman. First of all, let's talk about NXT's UK title. It goes back to Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher being their first champion. Am I correct with that one?
Wait. Nah, Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate. I'm sorry. That's Tyler Bate. And then you had what's my man? What's my man? The Bruiserweight. P. Dunne.
Oh, P. Dunne?
Yeah. I mean, you have a list. You have a list of like credible, worthy champions, and Walter's held this belt for over a year now. This is a very prestigious title because of how it's defended, and then the matches that you have are classics. Every one of them. I don't have a problem with putting Walter above Reigns, regardless of how old that title is or how old it's not. Should I say? I don't have a problem with that title putting that above Reigns, because Reigns versus Walter could be a clinic for Walter,
bruh. Fam. Oh, let me also put a pin in the Bruiser, because I have him earmarked for another mixtape. Shout out to Daniel Bryan. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes, sir. All right. Number 5, we have a New Japan champion, Will Ospreay, or Will on the Spray. Number 6, your NXT champion, Karrion Kross.
That's disrespectful.
Number 7, the ROH champion, Rush. Number 8, AEW and Impact champion, Kenny Omega. Number 9, your NWA World Heavyweight champion, Nick Aldis. Now, if you want to dispute that, hit us up. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. Apparently, y'all don't want no smoke, because I ain't heard from none of y'all. You know what I'm saying? We know it's a couple hundred of y'all listening to us every week, and we greatly appreciate you, but we need some interaction. Like, we talk that talk.
You're being modest. You're being modest with that couple of hundred, but go ahead.
Yeah, I am. You're right. They are
maybe they're just in agreement. Maybe everyone's on the same page here.
We hashtag with the shit. We can't be that much with the shit that everybody listening to us be like, man, y'all really got this. Nah, this got to be somebody. I know I yell at the radio. That's plenty of time. I yell.
We can't. We can't be that much with the shit. Where did we lie? See, here's the thing.
Let me play God's advocate for a second.
Don't do that. I tell people all the time, don't stop me when your feelings get hurt. Stop me when I start lying.
And there's that. Before we get
bastards.
Before we get to Daniel Bryan, because we mentioned so much NXT, I did come across something today that I wasn't going to even read, but I got to reading it and I was like, holy hell, this is too good to not read. You ready for this?
Reading is fundamental.
Reading is fundamental. I
see what you did there.
So, this picture.
I'm seeing the gift of dude pointing to his temple. Reading is fun. Dementals. I
still couldn't believe that somebody was like, you know what? He really smart. Nah, bro, you just dumb as fuck. Yo. What is this man's name? He is a referee. Oh, there it is. Got it right here. Drake Wirtz. Drake Wirtz.
That can't be. No, that cannot be his government. His real life government. That has to be a work name. Has to be. Cannot be his government God-given. Or as I saw it typed earlier today, it was an unrelated post. His full Christian name. It can't be. You're not finna railroad me like this. His name is not Drake Wirtz.
Explain that to a Muslim, fam.
It was the most arrogant, sacrilegious bullshit I had ever seen.
Actually, you know what? His WWE name is Drake Younger. His government is indeed Wirtz.
Oh, bro, let's just log off.
He's got history in combat.
No. Stop the show. Shut this shit down. It's the worst podcast we've ever done.
Log off, sign. Take us to the house.
Pencil pushers. Man, fuck it. We out of here, bro. Hit the old world class music. We out of here, bro. We taking it back to season 1. We done. It's up. You feel me? It's done.
No, we can't.
Chica. This is the worst podcast we've ever done. The worst.
The worst. This is the worst.
Chicago. Yeah, the worst. Can I get a Chicago style dog with the worst? Oh, this is gonna be awful. Okay.
Hey, man. Your girl ain't dry. She works. Oh shit. Oh man. All right, so back on the story, man. Oh God.
you know what they say, pray for the best, prepare for the worst.
When the worst come to worst, my people come first.
I mean, don't be so down about it. It could be worse.
Oh man. Yeah, the truth works.
Yeah.
All right, so Drake
know your words.
Drake Wirtz is apparently another one of these WWE right-wing QAnoners who decided to spew their rhetoric in the direction of anyone within an ear and or eye shot, as if
while also manipulating their WWE honor in doing so.
While also manipulating what now?
Also manipulating their WWE persona in doing so. You are presenting yourself as a WWE talent, employee, performer, while voicing these particular sentiments.
And he's also using his influence at times to accomplish this, according to an article that I'm reading from Ringside News. He appeared, all this is courtesy of ringsidenews.com, by the way. He appeared in a public meeting for Seminole County via Zoom, where he said that child traffickers love face masks. There's even a clip of the video which I refuse to play. We've played some shit on this show. I'm refusing to play this.
Thank you for your service.
Over the few months, him being senior official down in NXT has been compromised and has now been handed over to Daryl Sharma. He was also the timekeeper for NXT, which has also been removed from him and passed down to ring veteran Scott Armstrong. He also has not been offered the position of backup match timer.
That has been given away as well.
To another guy.
Give it away now.
And he has not been allowed back in the Capitol Wrestling Center since the suspension earlier this year. Bruh. When you are so unloved that you're not even missed.
That was the sound of you dropping the ball, fam. You absolutely dropped the ball in this situation. You had one job.
Wait, this article also says many in NXT are surprised that he is still with the company due to his radical beliefs. In the video, which went public today, of Wirtz spreading anti-masker conspiracy theories, won't also bode well for him.
Bro, okay. Follow me with this logic.
Wait, hold on. Hold on, because I'm thinking of two words that Taz used.
Sloppy shop.
Yeah, those are the two words.
So a lot of these Capitol Wrestling Center outbreaks could be somehow tied to a person who doesn't support the idea of wearing masks in a pandemic. Much. That's rough, bro. and not for any political affiliation reasons or any of that, but it's rough because you have someone who takes that stance, and obviously when they're not at work, if they're speaking this type of rhetoric, they're not practicing any of the things that are necessary to safeguard yourself, let alone protect other people. So what happens if you come to the PC and infect somebody that gets gravely ill?
Fortunately, here's the crazy thing: with as many cases as we've heard coming out of the PC, out of South Florida, we are really fortunate to not have any casualties in the wrestling world from COVID.
Facts. That's a factual statement. However, you have the most compromised immune system belonging to the biggest star in the company.
And what did he do?
For no other reason.
What did he do? Sat his ass fuck away from Dodge.
Sat his ass down somewhere. However, I'm just like, if for no other reason, that should be the reason that the mandate sticks, because we have the biggest star that we have under contract who has a compromised immune system due to cancer.
Twice.
How about we protect this investment? Damn if you care about the human being, because I mean, we know it's corporate business. The human being doesn't always come up in these conversations, but the investment in the human being is something that will come up. Protect the investment.
Secure the bag.
Baggington Securitas. I learned that from you and Petty.
Speaking, you know how I like segues.
Segues, because if we stay on that too much longer, I'm probably gonna say something get us. I mean, you can't cancel us. You'll probably be angry.
When we create our own phenomenon, there's nothing that anyone can do to get rid of us. Know that.
That's the truth.
Mickie James, WWE legend, surefire Hall of Famer, Impact legend, women's wrestling legend, has as we announced 2 weeks ago on our show that she has been let go as part of COVID budget cuts from on behalf of WWE 2021. Every year, this time of year, they let people go. Mickie James was one of 10 on the list. What makes this story more interesting here 2 weeks later is the fact that Mickie James goes to Twitter and shows a picture of her belongings that she received that were sent to her inside of a box. Inside of this box, 2 trash bags. Someone had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to put a 6-time WWE Women's Champion, a multi-time Impact World Heavyweight or World Women's Champion, all of her belongings, not to mention coach and mentor, and mother and wife of another world champion, put all of her belongings inside of 2 trash bags inside of a box.
You couldn't send her one of them old school WWF duffel bags that the $1 Million Man used to carry all that money in?
I'll do you one better. You could have just put the shit in a box.
Nope.
A trash bag is symbolic.
The trash bag is symbolic. I guarantee you this is, other than being a shit human being, this is what the person was thinking. If I put it in a trash bag, then in the box, it's an extra layer of protection just so she doesn't contract anything while it's shipping.
Hold that.
I guarantee you that's going to be used as an excuse, or that's part of the reason it happened, other than just being a shit human.
So the notification to WWE apparently came from Mickie James via Twitter the same way it got to the rest of the world. To which Triple H apologized. Stephanie McMahon apologized. Stephanie McMahon upped the ante and even so much further as to say that the person who did that is no longer employed with the company. Come to find out, the person who got fired was former WWE executive Mark Carrano.
Well, I mean, either he's responsible or this was just either he was specifically or a subordinate responsible, and that got him fired, because from the article I read about Carrano, he was on it anyway, and then his ex-girlfriend decided to put some more salt in the wound.
Bruh, can you please? That's why please put some stank on that one for me.
So I don't have the story in front of me, but once everything started to spiral out of control, and here's the other thing I have to make sure I get this out. So we're going to fire like 24 people in the midst of a global pandemic. Nobody bats an eyelash. It's not a big deal. You get all this social media backlash, no public outcry, no nothing. In the midst of record profit earnings. We send one person's gear back to them in a trash bag. People getting fired same day. Same day it hits social media, we firing people. Just do with that information what you will.
Let me read you quotes from WrestlingNews.co from his then girlfriend. If I can find her name on here somewhere. Deborah Simmons is her name.
That was so unnecessary. But for the sake of good news, yeah, go ahead, keep doing your thing.
Hey WWE, Mark Carrano stores the belts that he stole from WWE under the bed in his guest bedroom at his West Haven home at Triple H at Stephanie McMahon.
First of all, that immediately sounds like someone who uses drugs. I don't give a damn what anybody says. You can judge me all you want, try to cancel me. I guarantee you that shit won't work. I've said worse. That tweet read like someone who was drunk and or high when they sent it.
Let me continue. Let's up the ante here. Leave your chips on the table, sir. It's one thing to emotionally abuse and torment humans who can stand up and walk away. But to abuse a helpless animal, that's a whole other level of unacceptable. But Mark Carrano tried to kill his ex's cat.
Say, you know what I hate?
This seems like. Go ahead and tell me what you hate, and I'll tell you what this seems like to me.
You know what I really, really hate is this culture that we have, specifically in America, where you can either be a witness, an accompanying party, or what's the other word? An accomplice.
I'm about to say, or a criminal. that's the other option.
You know what I'm saying? You can be all of those things, a co-defendant, whatever. And during the process of these things happening, you don't speak up, you don't speak out, any of that. Or, you know, people that invite trouble to them. And then once that trouble gets there, or they separate the person that was causing all the air quotes trouble, they become whistleblowers or do-gooders, or as we refer to them in the urban community, rats.
Snitches.
Rats, snitches, stool pigeons, tattletales, any of those things. If he's hurting animals while you guys were together, why did you wait till he was your ex to speak about it? If he's stealing company property and it bothers you the way it does, why did you wait till he was your ex to rat him out? I'm not saying Mark Carrano is a good person. I don't fucking know him. And everything I've read from other people seems to lend itself to the fact that he's not that great of a human being.
Looks like a piece of shit to me.
I don't care one way.
Pizza.
You feel me?
Pizza shit.
I mean, hell, count your blessings. It could be worse.
I see what you did there. I like it.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it doesn't rattle her credibility. I just really hate that. Like, I hate people that invite violence onto them. And then when the violence shows up, you want to start pointing fingers and putting people in jail. Like, you asked for this.
This seemed like to me that they both had a highly toxic, substance-laden relationship on both sides. And even more so that he possibly turned her on to said chicanery.
So
that's I'm not trying to justify this at all. I'm not trying to justify this at all. I'm just saying this is
I know you're not.
This is how the conversation reads. And I'm not saying that she is or he is or they were or were not. That's just how the conversation reads. And reason why we say that, we know these people. We know, we've seen these people before. We know you.
We know toxic people. We know and have dealt with toxic people. So the same way I said that tweet at first, like somebody who had either been drinking or was high and was in their feelings, I've seen that before. So I know exactly where that energy comes from. I can't prove it one way or the other, but again, we here to chop up the news and figure out what's going in the salad, what's going in the trash.
And apparently it's Mickie James's entire WWE career, which ironically she says that even though with the apology from Stephanie, she did accept Stephanie's apology via Twitter and said that symbolically, this is me paraphrasing, that summed up her last 3 years in WWE.
Facts, talk your shit, Mickie. And the other thing, why are we having this conversation on Twitter? Like, Stephanie, you can respond via Twitter, but
y'all have each other's phone numbers, man. Like, if y'all gonna do this shit and make it public, like, record it on Zoom, but at least have that conversation woman to woman.
Hey, turn it into content. Actually call record, like you just said, record the Zoom call, edit out the stuff that you don't want shown. But I mean, own up to it, play it on the bump, give people a reason to watch that show.
And then speaking of more content,
everything is content.
Speaking of more content, WWE biography on A&E is freaking phenomenal. Episode 1 was,
I gotta watch those.
Steve Austin was the first one. Second episode was Roddy Piper. Next week we got, or this coming up week, we've got Macho Man Randy Savage. And then also WWE, was it Most Wanted Treasures? That show was, oh man, that show's getting better by the week.
I gotta check that one out too.
It's a really good take on something that History Channel and A&E have been doing over the last 5 or 10 years. It's a really strong take on it, and I like the way that they're adding history lessons into it for the casual fan. But you know how we feel about the casual fan. Yeah. So that's all I got for this week. What else you got?
So you remember we saw a story not long ago about Daniel Bryan putting some vapors in the air about the ending of WrestleMania could possibly be a sign of what his future looks like in WWE.
Right on.
Like he could be, looking to make his exit, but his actual goal would be to wrestle everywhere and WWE. And he said he's trying to weasel his way into some sort of an agreement like that, where basically he would go around doing what Cody did, but also be able to work in WWE, which I'm not opposed to. I also think he has a great future in creative, because the stuff that he's had his hand in has worked. He seems to understand at least the wrestling side of things. I don't necessarily look at Daniel Bryan and say, oh, he's going to know he's going to be able to set the trends and the curves as far as pop culture and wrestling goes, but he definitely would be able to give you a good wrestling product.
The cool part about that aspect is, on the production side, is the fact that he had that time off for his brief retirement. And I'm sure between Total Divas and Bree still wrestling from time to time, that he had his hand in Gorilla. You'd be stupid not to soak up some game from the best who ever did it and got away with it, in Vince McMahon.
The best who ever did it and got away with it.
Actually gave that title to New Jack, but hey Jack, speaking of, man, we got you, man. Come through, pull up. Anyway,
hey Jack, we got him on deck.
That's another conversation. But if anybody could legitimize the traveling circus from the WWE, like that hasn't really been done since the 70s. Am I right in that? Dusty Rhodes did it, but he was never a contracting employee. He would do dates with the E while he was still in Florida. Superstar Billy Graham, same thing. Bret Hart was on loan from Canada to WWE, but he also was able to wrestle in places like where Bill Watts and who's the Houston promoter, Paul Bosch, were doing shows from time to time. So I would, and again, these weren't people who actually were contracted who were there. Like, this would be the equivalent of a beltless Bob Backlund or a beltless Bruno Sammartino going elsewhere and then bringing work back to the E with him. So if anybody could pull it off and make it look good in the process, it individually, Daniel Bryan. Tag team, I'll tell you who I would love to see do that. Either New Day, the Usos, or both of them.
I can see that.
I mean, what else did they have to do besides beat each other's ass 1,000 more times and trade title wins back and forth?
Yikes.
Let the Street Profits go ahead and get their Hall of Fame ante up, and Usos and New Day can go, like, let the Usos go be part of Contra Unit for a hot second, kick it with their cousin. Let New Day go take on the Good Brothers on Impact.
This is not the NFL where we share revenue, and that's why it won't happen. Because at the end of the day, Vincent Kennedy McMahon is holding a card that says my television time is more valuable than yours until something changes. And because my television time is more valuable than yours, the people I present on my television are more valuable than the people you present on your television. So for me to send mine to you helps you, but what does it do for me?
There's only one person I can think of right now that could benefit from exposure on WWE television while somewhere else, and that's because of how he left. Jon Moxley, the only person I can think of that could benefit, that could help the WWE benefit from an outsider coming back in or coming back to their television. Jon Moxley's it.
And the whole reason I brought up the Daniel Bryan departure situation is because I wanted to put together a mixtape of, we can either do top 5 or top 10 opponents you would like to see him face on a world tour.
Tell you what, next week we have what's the massacre shit that AEW is doing?
Blood and Guts.
There you go. Basically, AEW is doing war games and calling it Blood and Guts. We can recap that, and we can do a mixtape for Daniel Bryan's top 5 or top 10. We'll do top 10 because he's a very easy wrestler to pair up with. Top 10.
You don't think we can pull? You don't think we can pull that off now?
We can. We can do all things. Give you something to tune back into. Suave, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Take us to the house.
Hey. The Hurt Business mixtape though.
Oh, we're gonna do that too. All right, let's do that. Let's do that now.
Okay. What you want to do? The cliffhanger and make them wait? Like it's gonna be a mixtape, the whole mixtape episode next week.
So we got AEW Blood and Guts.
Yup.
We've got the Hurt Business 2.0. Maybe finally. Because we've been teasing the Hurt Business 2.0 mixtape for a few episodes now. We're gonna push it back again like a hairline, and then Daniel Bryan's award tour with Muhammad, my man.
We on a world tour with Muhammad, my man.
Okay, so there it is right there. So now you know what you get next week. Now we can go ahead and do our due diligence and hit us up at Broken Pistol BC on all things social, brokenpistolbc@gmail.com. That's Broken Pistol BC on what?
Everything.
And
start like that.
We haven't even done the hashtags in a minute. Mark my words, with the shit, Broken Pistol Logic, you can't write this, fuck the casual fan, and my personal favorite. Where is this bad boy up?
Price just went up. Price just went up.
You feel
because for a nominal fee, soon to become a phenomenal fee, we will take some of this broken pencil knowledge, slice it off, and put it on your plate.
Yes, sir. Now, Suave, if you don't mind, kind sir.
Yeah.
Take us to the house.
Yeah. Pencil pushers. Go forth and carry the gospel on into your friends and to your loved ones. Heads up, pencils down.
Still the worst. The absolute
of
worst.
all time. Straight up. Just hot garbage.
Trash.